welcome once again to the Comic Conspiracy episode 272 for the week of August 2nd, 2016. We have a star-studded cast of all your favorite Comic Conspiracy podcast hosts this week, including myself, Ryan Higgins, and joining me. Let's go down the list. You guys at home, you might want to take your shoes off, get relaxed, because we got a very long, giant list of people here that are going to be on this podcast. Let's start with on the far, far, far left end of the table, way down there. I don't know if you can see me. What's your name?
Toby.
Toby Sidler. All right, excellent. Glad to have you on. And next,
Toby.
Okay, Toby, thanks once again for being on this podcast. Let's check in with our third guest. I don't know if you can see me.
Toby!
Oh, hey, Toby's here. Yeah, it's me and Toby this week.
Yeah, new one. It's never been done before.
It's a two-man nerdcast with just me and Toby.
Yay.
That's all right, though.
Hell yeah. You got the one guy that can't talk to be the only guy to be on the podcast besides you.
That's okay. I never can figure out what the hell I'm trying to say anyway.
Well, but you're better than me, at least.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe just a little bit. Just a little bit. Brock's busy with some personal stuff. Charlie's he's mentioned this on the podcast before. His family goes away for vacation during the summer, so
technically should be free to do this.
Well, they're
not unfree to not do it.
That's true. They just got home though, so he's got family.
Just got home. Okay, yeah.
Bryce,
then he's no longer a free man.
He's no longer free.
See, that's why he can't be here.
Right, Bryce. He's going to be here next week for our Suicide Squad recap episode. So hopefully he's getting a chance to see it. He says he is.
Oh, he's not coming with us?
He can't. He's got like I think work stuff. So
work or wife stuff?
Maybe both. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Baby stuff.
Yeah.
He's the head of he's like, he doesn't sound the head, but he's one of the people on his HOA board. And I'm like, why do you go to those meetings? He's like, I have to because I'm on the board. They're Tuesday nights. And I'm like, oh.
I can only imagine him at one of those meetings. He goes like, all right, gentlemen, let's talk about this. You want to say something? No, you can't say something. Let me tell you what's up.
I never go to my HOA meetings. I maybe should, but we never go. I don't know. I don't care. They're going to do whatever they want.
What are you guys going to talk to her like about the wash bears? Oh, the damn raccoons came again. And
no, they talk about, so we've had this fence that we're trying to get repaired.
The reason why you couldn't join me at Comic-Con? Fucking fans.
Yeah. And they keep sending us back these letters like, oh, we need like more information on what you want to do. I'm like, 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, we never got an email. Oh, wait, it's in our spam folder. There, never mind, we got it. Now we'll submit it again. It's like, come on, guys, I just want to fix this fence.
Wow.
Like, it's really, we want to make it exactly the way it was.
Yeah.
New.
You know, I just hear nothing good about HOA stories. Like, remember our friend Lane and his bathroom? That was broken for, like, I don't know, years. And he never got money for it. They never fixed it. I think he eventually fixed it himself. I was like, just nothing good comes out of any of this. So, Bryce, hopefully you do a better job since you're the president of your HOA.
I mean, there's the idea behind it is you need someone to manage the general property, common property.
You should get on your board because then you can like, our house needs an addition. We'll just add it.
No, but
you guys just can't have it.
There's a lot of annoying like city ordinance, and you have to do a lot of like
those could be raccoons too.
Well, taxes and accounting of where all the money's going and stuff, and then you have to be the guy that says, in our case, we need $500,000.
Oh, wow.
Injected into our HOA because for the last 20 years they've done a shit job of keeping up. And
defenses.
So for anything. So the new people that took over, they're like, we have to repair like 20 years worth of repairs because they kept just pushing it off.
Oh, wow.
So maybe it's for the best, but it sucks that we get stuck with the bill. So is this a comic book podcast or home ownership podcast?
This is like a life podcast.
It is.
Hello, Tim Ferriss. Let's start doing little trials on ourselves.
Well, we have really not anything to talk about this week.
Obviously.
Post-Comic-Con is obviously going to be, a little bit on the quiet side. There was a lot of Comic-Con news, obviously, last week, but we had...
Dude, it took me like a week to manage my swelling, like to get
swelling
down to normal. Yeah, I think I'm back to normal now, where I'm
okay.
Like go through the day in a normal. But for a while there, after Comic Con, I would still take breaks and still have to ice it, like really like manage the leg.
Yeah.
But I think I'm kind of more to normal now. But I was like, damn, that took a lot longer than expected.
Yeah. Well, you took a risk by going out there and
it was a big risk.
Walking around for a whole week on your on your busted foot. So hopefully it's back to normal.
Hopefully.
Well, we've had a crazy couple of weeks. We had Comic-Con, so you guys were there last week or 2 weekends ago, right? At this point.
Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah. So last week was post Comic-Con. We had our Killing Joke screening on Monday. We talked about that last week. Today, or sorry, well, as you're hearing this, tomorrow they're recording. So on Wednesday, our Comics Conspiracy exclusive cover for Harley Quinn #1, Mikhail Janin, that goes up for sale. So if
another first time a Toby Ryan podcast, we have a first time exclusive cover to the Comics Conspiracy.
First movie screening.
Yeah. Well, second, right? Technically, you had Killing Joke.
Well, right. Killing Joke was the first, and now we're doing Suicide Squad this week.
Yeah, because the first movie.
Yeah.
There we
first
go.
Big movie.
Yeah.
So just firsts all over the place. Things are changing. Things are changing.
Yeah. It's the rebirth of the Comic Conspiracy.
So if you bought that cover, if you pre-ordered from us, you should have seen some tracking info coming your way. So those all shipped out today. I mean, we pre-packed Monday, shipped them out today. So those are all coming.
Ryan made sure that Brock didn't leak all the covers that are being sent out, so you should be safe.
Yeah, I hope he didn't. I don't think he did. Well, fortunately, we had other people. We had Marshall and Brian and a few of the other guys helping pack everything up. So we had all hands on deck today because it was a big week plus trying to deal with all the variant covers. If you want to order that, it's still available, comicsconspiracy.biz. We have a bunch of pre-packed ones, so we're shipping them out immediately upon people paying. So we'll get this out through real fast. We're sending out a bunch for CGC. I've had a lot of people pre-order that. I actually got a few more today as well. So, those do take a few months to get back in because obviously you have to send them out, and it takes... God, I think at this point their return is like 60 business days.
Damn.
So we're looking October.
Yeah.
Maybe November, so somewhere in that range. But hopefully we get it back, pretty quick.
That's cool.
And then Thursday, Suicide Squad. Trailer, or I'm sorry, actual movie. No more trailers for Suicide Squad. The movie is coming out, but we'll talk about Suicide Squad a little bit later in this podcast. So with that variant cover, like I said, plenty of copies still available. eBay, Amazon, on our store site, comicsconspiracy.biz. Yeah, it looks really nice.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really super happy.
Good.
The price was, we talk a lot of business stuff on this end. It costs a lot of money to do this.
Yeah, and it was a risk. Because you didn't know who you're going to get.
Right.
Yeah, it was a big risk. You didn't know how the cover is going to look, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I think this is one of those things that if stores haven't done it, I'd say pick a winner. Don't just do it for every shit book that comes out because you could go bankrupt real fast. Especially when Marvel's... I'm not bashing Marvel, Bryce. Stop it. But
or the other listeners.
Or all my Marvel fans. But Marvel books are $1 more, which means you're going to pay a good 60 to 70 cents extra per copy that you have to order of that book.
Real fast.
Real fast.
Yeah.
So if I did that Star Wars one, I should have done it, right? We talked about it.
Yeah.
But I was looking at like $12,000 alone for that Star Wars comic.
Wow.
Maybe $11,000. Like, it was really expensive.
Wow.
I would have made a ton of money on it had I known.
No, for sure.
Right?
But it's a bigger steep to take on.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Harley's a good bet. I mean, Harley's big.
I'd been waiting. I'd been waiting for one that I thought was kind of a surefire bet. And even Batman, I was a little bit...
Yeah, well, just because there's so much Batman stuff out there, right? There's so many Batman variants. Harley still has a little specialty, has a special feel to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of Harley stuff, but she's got a insane fan base. Yeah. So I figured...
Plus the Suicide Squad movie helps.
Yeah, coming out right the same week as the Squad movie. So the big... really excited for that. So again, if you're local, you can pick it up in store. I'll give you a little special price for coming for the store here opening week.
And if you're not local and want to drive all the way down here, Ryan will still give you the special price.
I will. But mail order, we get to pay fees and shipping and all that stuff. So a little bit more online, but hopefully that's all right because we gotta make our money back. As business guys, sorry. I'm definitely not one to badmouth customers, but at least not publicly.
So we only do it here on the podcast.
We have a secret thread for that. No, I'm totally joking. But we've had a fair amount of people. It tends to happen during summer, where people want to come in and try to sell collections.
Oh, okay.
And talk about having a store has to make a profit, right?
Yeah. I see where you're going with this. Yeah,
I've run across especially recently, man, this past year or two, just a crazy amount of people that don't realize how selling comics to a store works.
Yeah.
It's if you want to sell person to person, go on eBay, do all the legwork, ship it, sell it on
one thing.
Craigslist, right? Do these trade groups on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Cool, right?
Yeah.
But if you've got 10 long boxes, that's going to take forever to deal with. So a lot of these guys that just want to move, these big collections, they take them to shops.
And they expect full price, right?
Well, maybe not full price, but I don't
pretty close to full price.
Well, a lot of people I think just misunderstand that if we have, anything modern, very few stores are going to pay a lot for.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And if it's in good shape, I mean, it has to be in perfect shape to be worth money if it's modern.
Yeah.
And we've had people come in with boxes of just absolutely destroyed stuff. I would literally throw half of it away. I can't give you a penny for this.
Yeah.
If it's going in my dollar bin or quarter bin or whatever, our discount junk bin that ends up in storage, I might give you a penny for it per comic.
Yeah.
There's just no, no money in it.
They also don't understand that the store requires rent, personnel. You have to take care of things. You still have to make money on it, so you can't give them the money they actually want for it sometimes. It's just a matter of fact, right?
We had a guy that brought in, a bunch of stuff, and I told him, like, unfortunately, none of the stuff is worth anything. I said, there's a couple comics in here worth something.
Yeah.
I was like, look, this might be an $80 comic. This condition's probably $50.
Yeah.
I might sell it for $30 to someone, $30 or $40 to someone. I can give you like $10 for it, just because it's not perfect shape.
Yeah, but see, what they hear is, wait, you went from 80.
Yeah,
you're not doing 50. You're not doing 40. You're giving me 10.
Right.
Well,
this is the process. When I say, I can give you $10 for this, this is why. This is how we get there. From this is an $80 comic. Well, no, it's not. First of all, and then here's how I get to how because. I'm, the store has to take the risk on making it. So, it's, if you're trying to sell your comics, especially to a comic store, just understand these things. They see collections constantly all day long if they buy comics. Yeah, it's just real hard to, I don't know. It's just real.
And
hard
some of the stuff you think is really good is not necessarily really good.
Oh yeah. Well. They always want, I paid $5 for this. How do but
it's not worth $5 anymore. I know that better than most people because all the books I collected are worthless now, pretty much. All my Aspen stuff, worthless. All my what's that Italian company?
The GG
whatever.
What happened to those guys?
I have no idea. They just disappeared. I love their art. Absolutely love their art. Right. But man, they just disappeared. Nobody knows even these books exist. I'm like, nobody cares, right? So I have a bunch of worthless books. I know it better than most people. And all the stuff I like, most of the stuff is worthless. So
me too. So it's not just you. Don't worry.
Well, but I love it.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm trying to think what else because we don't have a lot of stuff to really. We don't have our big stuff to talk about this week. We do have a bunch of questions here, so we'll definitely read some of those. I did. One of the other things I'd done over this past weekend, not specifically comic related, although kind of. If you remember episode a couple months back we did on the Haunted Mansion with one of our guests, Jeff Bam. I'm a big Haunted Mansion fan.
Yeah.
And so...
you went down this weekend.
I did, yeah. If you listen to Geekbox, you'll hear a bigger story about this. But
Ryan is making me listen to another podcast. I can't even get him from him directly.
I'll tell you about it. But I don't want to spend 20 minutes of this podcast rehashing
the same thing.
What I just said last night on a podcast, theoretically a little more suited for this. But if you remember hearing me talk about this before, definitely go check out this week's Geekbox. Because it was a really cool experience. Basically, it's kind of like an ARG, like a alternate reality game that you're going through the park, like an officially sponsored Disney thing too. And it's really cool to kind of interact with things in the park in a very strange way and have other people in the park look at you like, "What the hell are you doing?"
That's awesome.
We even had a couple employees.
So you had pre-training with the Pokemon walking around. And people go, "What the fuck you doing?"
Well, Pokemon and like those real escape games and stuff like that, right? And we actually had group of employees that didn't know what was going on.
Oh, so really?
That was pretty funny. Yeah. But if you want, you should check that out.
Yeah.
Well, only story that I really want to talk about here this week, because we don't have, post Comic-Con, like I said earlier, not a ton to talk about here. But I did want to mention this. If you're at all interested in comic books, you're probably aware of the Suicide Squad movie that opens this week.
Yay.
And this was really the thing that everyone is looking forward to. The trailer was killing it. The buzz was just so hyped. At Comic-Con, they had such a huge presence. Everyone was really, really excited. Premiere on Monday. Reviews went up today.
Mm-hmm.
And with 64 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, now Rotten Tomatoes not always the,
See,
it's not the end-all, be-all.
Bryce is not here.
All right.
I'm sorry, Bryce. You can't live by Rotten Tomatoes.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it does cause
a little uproar.
A lot of an uproar.
Yeah. Everybody's talking. Even people in my office were talking about it. They were like, "Oh, what happened to this?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What happened?
Yeah.
You haven't even seen the movie yet.
Yeah.
Why do you care?" I'm like,
"This is the thing, though."
Wow.
Rotten Tomatoes is current has 36% on review on Suicide Squad, and I just this isn't like, oh, me and Bryce are going to argue and joke about it and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
This is just me going, I don't know what to do. I quit.
Yeah.
I just kind of I'm not mad. People probably listen to this thinking, what are these guys talking about? Who cares? The movie's good, it's bad, who cares? But when you like this stuff,
yeah,
and you see,
you want to be successful.
When you see Marvel and Disney having insane success,
yeah,
and you watch Batman v Superman, and you walk out, and you're like, it's the first time a little concerned, second time thinking like, yeah, okay, I kind of get this. Or Man of Steel, I walked out, I love. Or even Green Lantern, I walked out going, yeah, it was a fun movie, right? And then just...
half of these I'm with you, half of those I'm not.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that everyone has to like the movies. But, at some point, you want to win, right?
Yeah.
You want to... I felt like the Nolan movies, the Nolan Batman movies.
Yeah.
I was like, Dark Knight was amazing, and everyone thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
Great, right?
Yeah.
But we've now had 3 in a row where the critics, and I assume the general audience, because it's...
Did the critics not like Man of Steel?
Man of Steel is the highest rated of all of them, 55% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Only 55?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Batman v Superman was 27, Squad is 30. Had been mid-30s pretty much all day.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
At this point...
Now, do you think this is something where maybe these critics don't actually understand it? Like, we know Suicide Squad. We come up with it, right?
Oh,
do they look, not fully get it?
I'm going to tell you what next week's podcast is going to be. I'm going to start out and be like, Suicide Squad is the greatest movie of the year. Like, is there any doubt?
I have to see it.
Sure.
I'm excited still. I'm still really excited. I don't give a fuck ass about any of these critics. I really don't.
Oh, sure. No.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just... maybe I'll walk out being like, yeah, it was just kind of okay. But no, I'm pretty sure I'm going to think this movie's incredible, right? It's a really high chance of it. And
if anything else, it's got Harley and Joker in the movie.
Yeah.
If anything else.
The reviews seem to be... I haven't read any spoilers, so I don't know anything specific. But the reviews all tend to be that it's kind of... it's interesting at the beginning, that it just kind of gets traditional at the end and not really, just kind of plods along. And
it's a Hollywood blockbuster movie. They tend to all end the same way.
Yeah.
Is there really any surprise there?
No. A bunch of the reviews are definitely saying the same thing. Like, if this was rated R, it might have had a little more bite. At PG-13, it's feel kind of tame. Like,
it does seem like it should be a rated R movie.
Oh, this has been the complaint from the beginning, right? That people are feeling... You go to the line, but you never cross it, right?
Yeah,
these are supposed to be the worst villains, but they're never villainous. I understand that complaint, but
well, honestly, I personally, while I'm really excited for this movie, I personally thought this is too early for this movie. Like, I thought maybe like the Batman, the Justice League, the Wonder Woman, put those out first.
Yeah.
And then have the kind of the opposite side, the anti-hero, the darker side of the universe kind of movie. Like the government building this little task force.
Yeah.
I think it's way too early for this to make a huge impact for it, right?
Well,
I almost feel like you should put out the big guns first and going, well, these are the cool kids. Like, behind the classroom, they get their little shot at the movies right now.
Yeah,
so
that's true. Like Guardians, right? Obviously, similar mentality.
Yeah. So I feel like it's done a little too early. But again, I'm just like Jazz said, they're making this movie. Out of all the properties DC can make a movie, this is their third movie in their DC universe. It's like...
Oh, I'm going to assume on the Suicide Squad fandom list of people that live in the United States, it's Jeff Johns, Ryan Scott, my buddy Gage, and then others. Like we literally, I'm surrounded by the biggest Suicide Squad fans of all time, right?
Yeah.
And I'm, everyone's super, super excited for this, but it's almost sad. I want to like something that
you could be proud
is
of.
Also successful, and other people. Like, I feel like this has sort of been this is sort of my lot in life, right? Yeah. Nintendo, they have success, but it's always kind of looked at as like, oh well, they're not Sony, they're not Microsoft, they're sort of this third thing, right? DC is never Marvel. The DC movies won't be the Marvel movies, right? It's like everything is just one step down from. It's like I'm constantly rooting for the underdog who's always losing every time, right? And so you could say like, oh, because people, hopefully, if you're listening, hopefully know I'm a really big Nintendo fan. Nintendo won with the Wii, but it's like, it's just not the same, right? It's like
I'm still on the heydays of Nintendo, man. I'm still Game Boy and SNES for life.
Oh, me too. But do you understand this mentality? Yeah, I want.
Well, it's really funny with Nintendo. I feel like they're just playing. They're in their own little world, and they keep not giving in. They keep want to fight the battle.
So. Yeah. Again,
but I got you. Sorry, I kind of went off.
No, you're totally right, though. That's the thing. DC, Nintendo, I feel these guys kind of have, and maybe in some way, although maybe not with DC with the movies, but we'll see, they kind of do their own thing.
Which is fine.
And they succeed or fail on their own merits, not within the system that they're placed, which is like always what I like. Mm-hmm. But at the same point, I want a DC movie in this connected universe that has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes just because I need that validation.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's sad that I need it, but when you like something and, if you're just a random dude in the street...
Well, you're just tired of walking down the street having to defend everything.
There were these guys that came into the store today. I'm not going to talk bad about customers. There were these kids that came into the store today, and they were just... They copy-paste internet troll articles about how bad Batman v Superman and Man of Steel were.
Wait. Was their name Brock?
No.
Oh, you sure?
Yes. Just copy-paste internet troll problems of those movies, and they were discussing it. I think they overheard us talking about Suicide Squad, so they were just... And it was like, it's the same bullshit. Like, I'm so sick of talking about it.
Yeah.
And now I was like, finally, Squad's going to be the movie.
Yeah.
And
it did have that vibe going in.
It did. It totally did. And so
I just wonder if maybe there's just a bunch of critic assholes who are just like, a DC movie, fuck you, right off the bat. And maybe it's not as bad.
I don't know. Again, let me grab here on my Rotten Tomatoes. Let me read some of the maybe the little quick blurbs here from the higher raters.
If anything, I actually hope DC just sticks to their guns continuously, because if you start changing things around now, you're just going to dig yourself a deeper hole.
Yeah. So again, I don't necessarily agree with any of these reviews. You'll kind of see a pattern here with a lot of these here from the negatives. David Edelstein, New York Magazine, says the year's most muddled piece of storytelling. So these are all top critics, so these aren't just random nothings.
And I don't want to hate on these critics completely because they do know what they're talking about. They do study all of this stuff. So,
sure. But AV Club says the characters are often too busy posing to exchange more than a few words at a time. US Weekly says, let's see, it's a chore to process the onslaught of violence, and then with the PG-13 movie too. Variety, on paper, this could have been the antidote to an increasingly codified strain of comic book movies, but in the end, it's just another high-altitude version of the same. And I think that's the problem, right? By the time DC starts rolling around, it's the problem of, it's just more comic book movies.
Been there, done that, yeah.
Yeah. So Peter Travers from Rolling Stone, he's a critic that a lot of people, I think, generally respect. Says, who stole the soul of Suicide Squad? I'd say it's Ayer's willingness to go limp dick and compromise his hardcore action bona fides for a PG-13 crowd pleaser that would rather integrate than cut deep or even cut at all. So there are definitely positive reviews. It's not... Brian Truitt from USA Today is actually talk to him often online. He says it's an excellent, quirky, profoundly raised middle finger to the superhero movie establishment, which is exactly
there you go. That's what it's supposed to be.
Exactly what I kind of thought. So again, I'm perfectly fine with movie for fans only, right?
Yeah.
But like, I want the rest of the world to also like the thing I like for once. It's depressing after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm going to have this in the back of my head where I'm going to walk out of the movie and be like, great, now I have to talk to a bunch of assholes on the internet who all laugh at me for liking Suicide Squad. Because I guarantee you, without fail, come Monday morning, every normal asshole that normally hates every DC movie is going to hate this movie because they're going to. They're just going to. And the same people that hated Batman and Superman and Man of Steel are going to hate this movie. Maybe they won't. I don't know. But I just assume they will.
Well, yeah. I do have to say, though, the few reviews I glanced over, they seem to have really liked Harley and Joker, at least.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's some upside to all of this.
Complaints are too many characters, too muddled story, kind of generic. I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll find out for ourselves come Thursday.
Yep. Very excited. Sold out show.
Yeah.
That we're hosting.
Yeah.
Please don't suck. And you know what's going to happen? Doctor Strange is going to come out, and Doctor Strange is going to be perfectly fine. It's going to be another normal Marvel movie. And it's going to get like an 89 on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm just going to want to put a bullet in my head.
Here's the thing, though. Like, even with Ant-Man, and I'm not trying to talk shit about Ant-Man. I
loved Ant-Man.
Yeah, but I wasn't that impressed with it. It's not one of my favorite Marvel movies. It's probably one of the more forgetful ones. There's aspects of it that I really loved.
Yeah.
But I thought, like, there's another Marvel movie, right? I actually want to kind of see something new. Like,
I think I liked it because it didn't feel like... I thought it didn't feel like a Marvel movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it just...
Yeah. But, like, Doctor Strange, I'm not... Like, I'm far more excited for Suicide Squad to see some of these characters on screen than Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And I love Cumberbatch, and I've read Doctor Strange books in the past, and they're all right. I mean, not my favorite, but, it's Doctor Strange, so I'm like... I don't know. I'd rather see Suicide Squad blowing each other's heads off.
Yeah, sure. I am
1,000
more times interested to see Suicide Squad than Doctor Strange, but I'm excited for Doctor Strange. It looks cool.
Yeah.
But, I'm sure it's just going to be the same. And this has been my complaint with the last couple of Marvel movies, is that, we are getting to that point where you're 13, 14 movies in, and you're like, all right, you got to show me something different, guys. You got to do something that's, you can't keep, it's the same story.
Yeah.
And I really think Age of Ultron and Civil War, to me, were like, I think they're perfect. They're fine, fun movies, but they're not billion-dollar movies to me.
You're mistaken, because both of those had Wanda in the movie.
Wanda. She's good. She's good. But, like, to me, they don't stand out among any of the others. It's just more of the same. And again, why I like the ones I liked. I think Guardians, I think Ant-Man a little bit, and definitely Winter Soldier really are the standout movies in the Marvel Cinematic movies. Those are the ones that I want to rewatch again because I think they bring something new to the table. Where, I mean, when Iron Man came out, God, go back 5-6 years in this podcast, we were raving over every single one of these movies because they still kind of felt
new.
Fresh.
Yeah.
But I expect Thor 3 to come out, and I'm going to be like, yep, it's more Thor. This new Jason Bourne movie just came out, and we were talking about this on the Geek Box.
Yeah.
And Adam...
What'd they say?
Oh, Adam was like, it's another Bourne movie, and the reviews seem to be it's another Bourne movie.
I went and watched that on Thursday with my buddies, and I was really excited about it because I actually like Jason Bourne, the first three. And I felt like this was one too many.
Yeah. Right.
Like, I felt the story was plot-wise wasn't there. Jason was doing Jason Bourne things.
Sure.
I didn't think it was epic, and it didn't feel as original as the other ones.
Right.
Like, I just felt it was one like too many. And if anything would have been interesting for me is if they continued the other guy, the Hawkeye story.
Yeah.
And combine some of the stuff, and then you have some fresh aspects to it. But
I think the reviewers agree with you.
Yeah, and the whole time watching this new Bourne movie, I felt like been there, done that.
Yeah.
Been there, done that better before, why would I care about this one?
Well, I think with Guardians, I think with Suicide Squad, people are going to look at it and be like, it's not Guardians.
It's not supposed to be.
But that's going to be the comparison.
It's not, well, again, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm still totally stoked for it.
And so, my post on Twitter. I'm half joking, but I don't know.
It's not going to be the real Suicide Squad either. This is going to be a watered down version of it because it's kind of more high profile characters.
Right.
It's not the old school C&D listers and do whatever the fuck we want.
Sure. Yeah. But that's the new Suicide Squad. My joke on Twitter earlier, and I'm obviously joking, but I don't know. Part of me maybe isn't. I said, yeah, the Wonder Woman movie looks like a piece of shit, and I'm not even going to see Justice League now. And just reverse psychology, this whole thing, right? I'd be like, maybe if I pretend to not be a fan, then it'll be really good.
So it's really all your fault, right? It's your excitement fucks everything up.
The Boston Red Sox, Nintendo, and DC Comics. Whenever I'm really excited, it just falls flat every time.
The universe just hates you
every time. This is why, when we get around this time, sorry, I'm going to talk.
Well, sadly, it hates me too because I fucking love Nintendo. Probably as much as you do, if not more. Not Boston, though. Sorry about the Boston.
This is the time of year where I start to kind of be like, okay, we're getting a little later into the season of baseball, time to stop paying attention so they have a chance of winning, right? I'm just like, okay, good. They won, fine. Just keep going. Just keep going, please. If I start watching, they'll start losing. So that's just my curse. So DC, fuck off. I'm never going to talk about you again, and I hope your movies all suck because they're all going to. And I'll just secretly watch them when no one's looking at me. Anyway, be prepared for a 2-hour-long podcast about Suicide Squad next week. Hope you're looking forward to that. I hope it's good. Fuck critics. I hope it's good. I really hope it's good. Yeah. So this is actually one from Entertainment Weekly. It says, for DC, which blew it with Batman v Superman last spring, Suicide Squad is a small step forward, but it could have been a giant leap. And I think that's, at the end of the day, it's a positive review. The actual review is a B-, so positive review. Okay. But that is my fear, is that there's no 5 out of 5s, there's no A+, there's no A's on this entire list. My fear is, it's good, it's fine,
Which might be fine for a movie like this.
Sure.
Because if it's like an A+...
It's like when I saw Ghostbusters. I thought Ghostbusters was fine.
That's a whole nother story, and I'll go on a whole nother tangent down there, because, I have lots of things to say about Ghostbusters, and it's not nice. No, I mean, Suicide Squad, you don't want it to be this picture-perfect movie. I kind of want it to keep the edge.
No, I want it to be ugly and dirty,
Yeah, but no, that's not what I meant. I don't want, fucking... people at work going, this is an amazing movie. I kind of wanted to keep the edge. I kind of want it so that people don't fully get it. I don't know. Maybe I'm selfish about it. I want it to be a little different, and maybe not necessarily for everybody. Yeah. For this property. I will never say this about a Superman movie. I'll never say this about, a Wonder Woman movie. But for this property, I kind of want some people to go, This is fucked up. It wasn't really for me, right? I kind of want that for this movie, but I don't know. Well, I don't wish it ill. I'm just saying I wanted to keep the edge, but with a PG-13 movie, I don't think we'll get it.
Going into this weekend, people are thinking, oh man, this is a potential to do Deadpool numbers, right?
Yeah.
And now, does that 140 million opening weekend fall to 95 million?
Because of the fucking reviews?
And not be Guardians? Does it cause...
Because it was on verge to be Guardians, wasn't it?
Oh, the 125 to 140 was the estimated opening weekend, and it's still going to do very well, and it probably will still be Guardians, but maybe not. Maybe it'll be...
It does have a lot... Today seems like a downer, though.
Very much so.
Before today, everybody is up and up, and after today, we're like, what happened?
Right.
Yeah.
So, does it crack 100 million? Does it go on to do, 225 domestic, maybe 5 international, and just kind of... It's successful, but it's just, it could have been so much better. And are we just down to now let's move on to our 4th hope, Wonder Woman. Our 5th hope, Justice League, which is Justice League is going to have.
Wonder Woman will save the day.
Who knows?
Otherwise.
And Justice League is going to have so much baggage going into it.
Yeah.
All the hype from Comic-Con will mean nothing to the Zack Snyder haters that won't go see it.
Yeah.
So
It's too bad. I hope they don't start over. I really don't.
If Squad bombs, do they just start pulling the plugs on everything left and right? Do we get Justice League and maybe Flash and then that's it? Maybe the Batman movie?
I better get my fucking Aquaman.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think Wonder Woman will steal it.
If Squad could pull $500 or $600 million, I think if it can hit $500 million.
I don't think Squad was an expensive movie to be made. Not with David Ayer doing it.
One and change, I think. 120,
is it?
Maybe.
Okay. That's still up there.
Yeah. I think.
Because
I don't remember.
David Ayer's other movies are not those kind of movies. Yeah.
Well, we shall see next week. And again, yes, hopefully, you guys all go see this movie this week if you're interested. And definitely those first weeks are tend to be big, so worth checking out. And next week we'll probably be talking all about Suicide Squad. So you can look forward to a big talk about that. Let's hit some questions here. We got a bunch of random ones. First one comes from Problematic Cartoon. He says, "Condolences. This has been a rough day for you."
Wait, on real life or the Suicide Squad reviews?
Well, Suicide Squad reviews plus actually what he's responding to is that my posted that the Paint the Night Parade at Disneyland is going away in September, which is incredible.
The what?
It's the Paint the Night Parade. It's their nighttime parade they're doing right now. They did it for the 60th anniversary, and it's incredible. And when we were down there this weekend, I said, "No, we'll do the parade and fireworks next time." It's not going to be a next time. It's going to be gone before I go back.
Oh, really?
So I'm like,
so you going back one more time then?
I don't think I can justify that. It is if you haven't been to Disneyland,
if you sell out of these Harley Quinn covers, you can.
If someone wants to buy a whole lot of Harley Quinn covers, I'll meet you at Disneyland and bring them to you. It is a really cool. If you ever get a chance, go watch the video on YouTube. It's an amazing. It's the old oh god, I'm blanking on the name of it. What do they call it now? It's the Electric Light Parade.
Okay.
Did you remember?
No.
It's like a real famous parade they used to run. This is sort of like a modernized version of it.
Okay.
And it's really incredible. And
that's cool.
That's also going away. So, yeah.
All good things must end.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like the motherfucking Back to the Future ride is gone. I didn't even know for years.
Oh,
it was like
Universal, right?
Gone for years.
Yeah, it's forgotten for like a decade or something.
I had no idea, right? I'm like, I still want to go back because I want to ride the ride. And people are like, what are you talking about? It's not there anymore. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That ride was fantastic. I still dream of that ride.
Yeah.
I still do. Any ride that makes it feel like I'm actually there in the movie is fucking cool in my book. Star Tours, love Star Tours.
Yeah.
Back to the Future, loved it. Like any of those kind of rides, I could pretend it's all real. It's cool in my book.
From our good friend Darfox8, he says, "Fuck the critics," or "Fuck the critics?" ? Or "Fuck the critics!" ! All caps. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, I never believed in them, so I will make my own, what's it called, review of it, or whatever. I can't talk, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
I hope it's really good, though. I really do hope it is.
Yeah, it's really good.
But you never know with me, right? I could be very judgmental in a movie and be the same as the critics, and then they could be a movie like Daredevil, which I love, and everybody fucking hates. So you never know what's going to come with me.
Yeah, no, I think that's, you have to, kind of figure out your own groove and what you like.
Yeah. And I definitely do.
And there are plenty of movies that I love that are just like critically panned or very mediocre, but they
I love a lot of those movies.
Dick Tracy for me is one of those movies where I love. That
was
Dick
not
Tracy
a bad movie though.
Oh, people kind of hate on that movie.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. It is a endlessly quotable. I love Dick Tracy.
I looked at a list today of worst movies that are great, and I looked through that list of movies, and I was like, shit, I didn't know this was a bad movie. I love some of the movies on that list. I was like, I didn't know this was bad. I love this shit.
Oh,
and I didn't think it was bad. I'm like, I know when I love a bad movie.
Sure.
Except for Daredevil, I know when it's bad.
Sure.
Right? But when I looked at that list, I'm like, this isn't bad.
Not a bad movie.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely like that with a few movies. But Dick Tracy will always go down as that one movie that I'm like, yeah, it's kind of got panned and people don't like it, and because it came out after Batman, and I think people were thinking, but I love that movie.
I remember,
legitimately love every aspect of that movie. I think it's an incredible movie, and it's shot so well and so cool looking, and I love the vibe of it.
And there never has been a movie like it.
No. I wonder if they.
And it fits really well to the old school cartoon look.
I think so. I mean, just the super limited limited amount of color schemes they use.
Yeah, super bright.
Yeah. Let me check.
What Rotten Tomato has?
Tracy. What does Dick Tracy get on Rotten Tomatoes? I don't actually know. Yeah, because that was just after Batman. 64%. 64% of Rotten Tomatoes. 53% liked it as the audience score out of 76,000 rating. But yeah, no, okay, here's how we know the world is terrible. Scrooged has a 68% of Rotten Tomatoes, and Weird Science has a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes. We can now throw Rotten Tomatoes out the door. Those are fantastic movies.
I've thrown the Rotten Tomatoes out the doors a long time ago. It's all you fucking idiots that keep looking at Rotten Tomatoes.
68% for Scrooged. What? Okay, fuck this site. I'm never going back here again. You're on your own now.
I think on our Facebook feed, I was talking to a couple of our regulars, and we just started looking up movies. I'm like, I love this movie. And, Rotten Tomatoes fucked it.
Yeah. So stupid.
Even my sister was like, why are you buying this movie? I'm like, it's fucking excellent. She looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, why do you look that shit up there?
Yeah, that's what happens. So, Ryan in Iowa asks, could you guys break down what happened to Valiant in the late 90s? Ninjak, Bloodshot, Hardcore, Magnus, Robot Fighter. I can't tell you the plots of them, but I could tell you what happened to the company, if that's what you're asking.
Probably is.
What's that?
He probably is asking that.
Oh, yeah. If you're curious what happened to the company, they actually sold at not their peak, but a little bit after their peak to Acclaim, the video game company. They were making a Turok video game and a few others. And Acclaim had no idea what to do with them. And within I would say a year maybe less, maybe slightly more. But very shortly after they sold to Acclaim shut them down completely.
Wow. They were pretty big at one point.
They were huge for about a year or two there. Yeah. Their first year or so was a little quiet, but then they exploded. They were rivaling Image. They were gigantic.
Yeah.
But then oversaturation, market
aren't
crashed.
Some of those characters classic characters, though? Like, Turok goes all the way back. Magnus goes all the way back.
Turok, right? Magnus, and Solar, those were Gold Key characters. They were characters created in the 60s that Valiant had licensed. That's why the new Valiant comics don't have those characters.
Oh, okay.
Because they were licensed characters.
Okay.
So then they created this universe sort of around them and other characters.
I didn't know that, actually.
Valiant, before they were doing that, they were doing... Speak of the devil, they were doing Nintendo comics.
Uh-huh.
They did the Super Mario Brothers, Captain N.
Yeah.
I think they did a small, a 6-issue Zelda series. And that's actually where Joe Quesada got his start at Valiant.
Oh, nice.
Working on Nintendo comics. Yeah.
So everybody has a such somewhere.
Yeah. So they did come back for a little bit as I think they were just called Acclaim Comics.
I kind of sort of remember that.
Yeah, they
briefly.
released...
Didn't they have some licensed comics, too? I thought they did.
I don't remember. They released maybe 12 issues of a new Shadow Man series to go along with the new game they came out with. They tried once or twice to kind of bring it back, but it never happened. And then until the new company picked up the license to everything, or the rights to everything.
That's what it is, just licensed?
Oh, they might have purchased it entirely. So, because
it's interesting. I mean. Us as comic book fans, we go through history. Marvel and DC seem to be almost there, always there. Yep. Even though we almost lost Marvel at one point.
Yeah.
But I love CrossGen, but they came and went.
Oh yeah, well, it's funny with CrossGen, right? They sold to
Disney, wasn't it?
They ended up selling to Disney.
So they're technically owned by Marvel now,
right? Marvel put out a couple CrossGen comics.
Oh, really?
Right after they got picked up by Disney, and they did
Was it the Abacus? That was the last that I remember.
No, they did was it a 4-issue Ruse miniseries, maybe? I can't remember what it was. They did a 1 or 2 miniseries.
They had some really good ideas, I thought. They were not well fully fleshed out, but they had some good ideas, I thought.
They had an interesting model, but it wasn't feasible for today. When CrossGen started, they actually had everyone working in-house. Yeah. So you had to move to Florida and work.
But they actually picked up some really great creators for a bit there.
Mark Waid, George Perez. Yeah. They have big names to them. But that's a big move for people. And why...
That's not easy.
No one does that anymore.
Yeah. That's people not easy to do. That's too bad, because I actually was kind of curious what they would make out of themselves.
Yeah. They pioneered those $9.99 trade paperbacks. They were doing really cheap collections of basically a month worth of their comics, really cheap. I could say they pioneered it. Maybe other companies have done it prior.
I feel like they had a good, like Marvel is very superhero. DC had the Vertigo stuff, but Caution was like they had a fantasy book, a detective book, and it was like nice little variety there. But Caution, there was the Valiant stuff. It's like, and Image is not the same Image as it used to be, right?
Totally
so it's a completely different company at this point. So it's kind of interesting to see these guys go up and down. Like, remember when She was really big? Billy Tookie stuff. I mean, that was huge, right? It kind of went away. Like, Dark Horse is not the same that it used to be.
No, I mean, Dark Horse has a couple big hits here and there, but Dark Horse, even if you look at like Oni and Boom, and Dynamite, they're not putting out the same stuff they were putting out a few years ago. The indie market's in a weird flux right now. I think we talked about this a week or two back with Image. A lot of the creators are they leave Marvel and DC to go to Image. Now they're leaving Image to go to Hollywood. So as they get their shit, we haven't seen the new Sex Criminals or Bitch Planet or any of that stuff because those guys are all.
It's true.
Adapting their movies.
Either that or...
But Kirkman keeps pumping out like 3 comics a month, so...
Well, it's funny because I think some leave for Hollywood, they get poached basically. And I think others maybe don't... Like, I don't know what is for real, right? But I feel like some of these guys, they get their shot at Image. They think they're going to do it. They think they got a good groundwork, but some of them actually need some, like, editors going, hey, this is a storyline we want to do. Like, too much freedom for some of these guys may not be a good thing because they're like, we can do whatever we want next year.
Right. Oh, there's still, I wish... I think Bleeding Cool had a list. I should see if they've updated it recently. Books announced at Image Expo that still haven't been released.
Yeah.
Some needs to go back 3-4 years.
Well,
right?
it's far easier to say, I'll continue this book later when you're your own boss.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, when you get an offer, and I'm not hating on any of these guys. If a video game company comes at you going, we'll give you $1 million to draw far less than you've been doing on your own book, and you make far more money, it's far easier to go, it's my own book. I'll just delay it or stop working on it to make more money. And then, I'm not hating on any of these guys. Like, I will do the same thing, right? So, reality sets in sometimes.
Yeah. I got a couple more here from our good pal Indigator. First question is, best storyline in Legends of Tomorrow? He's leaning towards Metal Man and Firestorm, but Metamorpho is right in there.
That'd be cool.
I've not read Legends of Tomorrow. No, he's talking about the comic book.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cool, though. Yeah. No, I like those characters.
Oh, in the TV show?
No, well, I was hoping, I was like, that's what you're alluding to, because I would love to see those characters. It'd be weird to see them, but...
So, as I've done with a lot of more recent miniseries from Marvel and DC, when they're kind of, not a major crossover like Civil War, I'm actually waiting for them all finished before I read them all, because that's just easier for me to read. I should just buy trade paperbacks, but I don't, so... I haven't read any of the Legends of Tomorrow stuff, but I'm sure I will love the Metal Man and Firestorm because they seem really cool. And that Sugar and Spike kind of weird remix looks really interesting too. So I'll let you know. The last issue just wrap up, or it's about to wrap up. It should be really soon. So hopefully soon. He also asks, alternatively, when are you guys coming to GenCon? So let's talk games here for a little bit.
The GenCon is this faraway land. Like, if we're talking like Captain N Worlds, that's like this faraway thing that I don't have warp access to.
Indianapolis, Indiana. GenCon's actually this weekend, apparently.
Is it?
I didn't realize it was this weekend. So I would love to go to GenCon. Here's the thing.
Isn't it like board games?
It's board games.
I'm gonna be like the total like normal dude right here going, wait, is it? Blah blah.
Board games, role-playing games, LARP, stuff like that. Yeah. Here's my deal. There is an alternate universe Ryan Higgins that runs a game store that plays D&D all week and plays board games all the time and doesn't read comic books.
Yeah.
He likes comic books, but he just has no time to read comic books because he plays board games too much
and he's already
role-playing games too much. Right, and he's already there. Like, that's me in games. I'm not a huge board game guy, but I love role-playing games. I played D&D since, 2nd edition when I was a kid.
See, I never did. I'm very jealous. I love the D&D cartoon. I absolutely love the D&D cartoon.
I don't have time.
Yeah.
We talked on the Geek Box last night about, I'm always catching up on video games.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm video games, I'm behind. Like, I have Wii games that I haven't opened yet.
Generations back.
I have GameCube games and PS2 games that I haven't opened yet that I bought that I wanted to play. Right.
I love the idea of having every Friday night sit down with buddies and play D&D. but I just...
Make it Thursday night so the people that actually want to go out and have a drink can still join you.
I just don't have that schedule.
Yeah.
Like, it kills me. And I mean, I could hire more employees, quit both podcasts, and stop doing a few other things, and then I could, but then I'd have to do those. I'd have to stop that stuff, right?
There's only so much time.
Yeah, it's terrible. I do love games, and I really wish I had more time.
Me joking aside, I actually do really like board games quite a bit. Yep. If I understand them, sometimes they get too complicated and out of my head. But I love Settlers, and I love Munchkin, and those two I always go back to just because they're simple to get into. But nothing but respect to all you gamers out there. A lot of big gamer friends. So even though I'm making jokes, it's with love.
Yeah. So one day soon, maybe I'll become an old man and then go to GenCon and be like, oh,
don't you just be the grumpy old man though?
Don't do comic books, Sam. From Stefano, he says, haven't seen our store weekly sales report. And again, man, I'm sorry. I want to do that more often, but it takes a little bit of time, and I need to get back on doing that. On the Comics Con store Twitter website I was doing it Wednesday nights, but there was only like a day's worth of sales, so I've tried to do them more often on Mondays. I do try to talk about what we've sold from that previous week.
Oh.
I'll tell you this. Our sales for Marvel have dropped pretty significantly. They picked up for the first month or two for Civil War, but there is I don't want to say universal, but there is definitely a big drop on the crossovers, basically down to regular numbers. So any bump we got from the Civil War crossovers has been nullified. So I've cut that pretty hard. I'm very curious what they're going to do for their new stuff, but Civil War number 3, it didn't. I guess sold okay. The big issue from a couple weeks ago, but it just didn't blow out the door. So I'm sorry for number 4. 3 and 4 didn't. I mean, I'm cutting again way back down on Civil War because there's interest, but it's not huge. DC Rebirth. There's, no lies. I'm not going to bump up these numbers. The numbers have fallen pretty dramatically from that first month. There's definitely interest. I mean, we're talking, I'm selling 50 copies of Aquaman over 10, right? But I'm not selling the 75 or 100 I was that first month. A lot of people did grab that first month, and now they're back.
Well, that's fairly normal, though.
Sure.
The first couple issues is going to get some excitement, and then people kind of filter out and pick up what they really want to read.
Yeah, but we are definitely very high on the Rebirth stuff. The new number 1s have still been new and solid. They're averaging, I'm going to say they're averaging maybe a little under what I was doing of the Jeff Johns Justice League. There are certain books selling much more, and there are a handful of books selling less. But Jeff Johns Justice League was always like a top 15, sometimes top 10 book. That's huge for DC. So, again, we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks, coming into September, October, November. But I think DC is going to have a real positive end of the year. And, hell, even if I'm selling 20 copies of Aquaman over 10, that's twice the sales. I'll take that. I'll take that any day of the week. And the double shipping doesn't seem to be affecting anyone. People love it. Yes, Bryce, DC double shipping is perfectly fine, just like Marvel's double shipping was perfectly fine when they were doing it. I wish more companies would do it.
You were complaining about the Marvel window.
When it first started...
And Brock would not shut up about it either.
When it first started, I'm like, well, this is going to backfire, and it didn't. And I'm like, well, okay.
You've been proven wrong.
I will fully admit when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Occasionally, I will always admit when I'm wrong.
That's kind of rare, man. We fight a lot. You never fucking admit you're wrong.
I always admit when I'm wrong.
No, not with me, man. We fight till the death.
It's funny on the forum, on the Facebook forums. People were making fun of me about, I don't know, they're making fun of me about something, and they said they quoted me as saying, this Miss Marvel comic from Marvel will last 6 issues, and I'm like, well, no, sure, I'm wrong. It lasted a lot longer. But look at what cost. Marvel has changed huge portions of their line to mimic that title and other titles to horrible sales. So, that one book lasted pretty well, but none of their others have. Yeah. And just like DC and Batgirl, right? They launched like 10 titles that kind of tried to mimic that similar style, and they all flopped. And Batgirl plummeted down the sales charts at the same time, too. So, I will I will admit when I'm wrong, but then I'll also counter, with if I can with what I believe to be, more stuff. Let's see. Brad on Twitter says, "How are digital sales?" I know they didn't release sales numbers like that.
We haven't talked about that in a while.
Yeah, we do good.
Yeah,
our digital sales are definitely trending upwards.
That's good.
It's hard to tell because there's a lot of data to sort through.
Hard
to tell if it's more people or just same people buying more stuff.
Huh, yeah.
But with more big sales and the specials and Rebirth, we sold a ton of Rebirth stuff on. Yeah.
I'm still not used to digital, man. It's just...
Yeah, it's not my thing, but I'm glad that people like it.
Yeah, but I mean, for a guy that bought a shitload of comics and has to eventually organize and go through it, that are just piling up. I admire you, digital people, because you'll never have to go through any of that crap.
Yeah. Just if Comixology goes under, you're gonna have some problems. But other than that, it's owned by Amazon now, so that's very unlikely. Yeah, but no, the stuff we do is great. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. You can go buy from us. But industry-wide, no idea. The last number I heard was 10% of the market, which is what people kind of assumed it was going to level out at. Numbers for 2015 from various reports, ICV2, Diamond, they all said if it's flat, 2015 was flat from 2014, roughly. So, about 10%. Looks like comics are maybe 50-60%. Trade paperbacks are, 40-50%. I'm saying roughly. They can kind of bounce back and forth, and then digital is maybe 10%. So, if you like it, keep doing it. People obviously like it. This is from James, who apparently has never listened to this podcast. He says, "How has your comic taste changed since you've gotten older and had children?" I have no children, so I have 2 children. I have 2 dogs. They're my children. Maybe he was asking Bryce and Barack and Charlie.
Yeah.
People who have gotten older and had children.
2 guys are here on the podcast cannot answer this question. But the 2 people that
can't answer this, I still love Lady Death and Purgatory as much as I did before I had children.
Oh, shit, okay, that's him. I was like, wait, what? Who's this Ryan Higgins?
No, I'm joking. My tastes haven't changed much. The style and types of books I like, probably when I was in my very early 20s, is what I still like.
I like the same shit I liked as a 5-year-old still. I haven't changed at all. I mean, I add to my library of things that I like, but I still enjoy my old Donald Duck books as much as I enjoy, the Vertigo books I read now. So
sure.
So no. I just add more to it. I don't seem to. That's a flaw in my collecting habits.
Like more.
I just like more shit and buy more shit instead of see. Charlie's very smart. He
purges.
He purges. He has one statue. He gets a new one. He gets rid of the old one. Right.
Yeah.
Very smart man. I don't. I just add.
Yeah. I definitely try to purge when I can, but it's harder. Because you get down to that stuff. You're like, well, I can't get rid of any of this.
Yeah.
Right? 2 similar questions here. One from Stefano. He says, "What's your forecast about the future of the DC movie universe if the Suicide Squad movie bombs?" And a question from Mason. He says, "When are the movie critics going to stop calling DC movies the worst movies of the year? Hashtags, when will the pandering stop? Frowny emoticon."
Hopefully soon.
Yeah, we talked about this.
I think it will stop with Wonder Woman. I really do think it does. I'm like, how can you hate him? Like, all these asshole critics, how can you hate him Wonder Woman? Like, how?
If it's a bad movie, right?
Yeah, but even if it's, not the greatest movie, but a solid movie, they can't hate on it. They'd be just a bunch of assholes, right? Well, they would be politically whatever it's called.
Well, for me, I think, if you're giving Batman v Superman or Man of Steel a 1 out of 4 stars or an F, I can't listen to you. You were so out of touch.
Wait, which movie? Batman Superman?
Yeah.
I give it a bad review.
Do you give it a 1 out of 4 stars or an F?
I gave it a 2 out of 4.
That's fine. Like a C, sure. Any professional,
maybe even D.
Did you watch the new cut?
No, I really want to, though. I really want to.
Oh, that's what we didn't talk about last week. The Batman v Superman.
I know, but I haven't seen it yet, though.
Okay, go watch them. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I need to buy it still.
Yeah.
I really want to watch it.
I can't understand a professional critic giving those movies that level of score. I have to feel like there's some hate some inherent hate going into this stuff.
Dude, trust me, for me, there's no. I mean, I'm not talking about the critics, but I wanted to love these movies. Like I love Man of Steel.
But you have a bias here already. These are movie reviewers are hopefully impartial and really trying to base it, just judge it on
its own
merits, not within the greater context of.
Well, I think I do. Because going into Batman Superman, I was totally open for it. It was not, until I started watching it, I was like, "What the hell?" Right? Man of Steel, I actually really enjoyed.
Base it off pre-existing material.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. I think I base it off a movie, which doesn't explain Daredevil, which I've been proven, I guess, that I'm wrong about my decision on Daredevil. But I'll stick to my own opinions, whether they're right or not. They're mine.
Sure. Well, I think, I don't think these guys are getting paid off by Disney to say these movies are bad, but I think they are overly harsh. And as far as Stefano's question, I think we kind of talked about it earlier, but I have no clue.
Wonder Woman.
You either stay the course, or you just
Wonder Woman is going to fix all. Gal Gadot is going to save the day, and then Aquaman is going to kill it, as in, make it solid.
I hope so.
Yeah, like Gal Gadot is the one that's going to bring him in, and then Aquaman is going to be the one that's going to knock them all out.
Yeah.
I hope.
All right, one or two more questions here. We got Josh. He asks, is there any good Batman Beyond comic story arcs and standalone stories?
If only Charlie was here. He reads all of those.
So there's been an ongoing Batman Beyond comic for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And
I'm so out of tune with that, though.
The Future's End arc that came out a couple of years back had an interesting Batman Beyond story. You might not like how it ends, but the new Batman Beyond Rebirth comic that starts up in just a couple of weeks kind of takes everything back to a classic take on Batman Beyond. So I would start there if you want that. It's a good place to start, the new one. And I think this might be... Oh, no, two more questions. We got one from Mitchell, who I think just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Mitchell.
Hello.
Happy birthday. Brock's buddy. He says, I read the Preacher comic. Do I even need to watch season 1 of the show? The fact that I have to ask makes me sad. I have not caught up. I'm still 6 episodes back.
Isn't that the entire season?
It's 6 out of 10. I've heard the finale basically takes you to the start of the comic.
Which is what I predicted.
Which... Why don't you just start where the fucking comic starts? To
be different?
But I've heard... I heard nothing different about it. I haven't heard it got better. I haven't heard it got worse.
It seems there's no hype about it whatsoever.
No.
Which is sad, because Preacher should have been the biggest thing ever.
It should have. All the reviews, all the talk, people I know, they're like, it feels like the same. And again, I watched a couple episodes past those first few. I thought it got slightly better, but it's just not Preacher. If they're getting closer to the comic, cool. I'll give it a shot. Like I said, I'm finishing the season out.
Yeah.
So someday, apparently. It's apparently taking me a little while.
I'm super worried about 100 Bullets. Because I love 100 Bullets.
Are they even doing that?
Supposedly Tom Hardy's doing it.
Movie
supposedly.
Now? Movie?
Supposedly, yeah.
We'll see.
But I'm really worried if they can't do Preacher right, which is one of the biggest Vertigo titles. I hope they don't do 100 Bullets wrong. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Grumpy old nerd.
I would say watch a couple episodes, but yeah, just read the comics. They're better. And last one from the opinionated one on Twitter. He's very opinionated. Says, if there was another Marvel vs. DC, who would you want to see in it? Everyone. That's the great thing about Marvel vs. DC.
I did not like the Almanac stuff, though.
Almanac?
Yeah, like when they're merged.
Oh, the amalgam?
Oh, is that what it's called?
Amalgam? Almanac.
I couldn't read that word.
Amalgam.
Yeah. I hated that stuff.
Those are cool.
No, I hated it.
For a one issue.
No, I really, really enjoy the characters meeting each other. But when they start merging the characters, I was like, no, you crossed the line.
See, I don't think you get anything better than JLA vs. Avengers. JLA vs. Avengers is everything I've ever wanted. And I feel like that's a great place to stop. You just don't do anything again. Because there will be nothing better. I thought JLA Avengers was just absolutely... It was every character, every version of every character. They're switching costumes between panels when the timeline's going all nuts. It was...
I think my favorite is actually still Superman, Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, the original ones are cool, but as far as just the
the scope of shit.
That was like the Crisis on Infinite Earths of like
between the two companies.
Crossovers. It was just so cool, and NASA should have that picture of cover number 2, I believe.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Where there just is every character on it.
Yeah. That's also the cover for the Absolute.
Yeah.
Or the fake Absolute. Because I don't think they call the Absolute then.
No, it's still one of my favorite comics of all time. But actually, a Marvel versus DC right now would be kind of funny because they could go two ways. They could actually have...
Well, it'd be all the fake characters.
Well, I almost think they could do like DC Rebirth versus... or DC New 52 versus Marvel, like all new, all different. And so you're like... It's all these like kind of shitty versions of the real characters and all these replacement heroes and all this weird stuff. And then the end is all the real characters coming back. They reboot Marvel and DC at the same time. Everything's back to normal. And wipe out all these garbage new characters.
Fun fact, though, back then they almost traded Iron Man for Green Lantern.
So,
is that true? So, or is that a fake myth?
I have mentioned that on this podcast. That is something that I heard forever. I think it was on maybe Kevin Smith's podcast. I heard another take on this story.
Okay,
where it was.
Could you imagine though? Those characters
Hawkman for She-Hulk was the switch.
That's a weird switch.
And I was like, that's not the story that I heard at all. I have
switch, though,
distinct memories of reading rumors in Wizard Magazine. God, maybe someone out there can
Wizard Magazine
could rip out a page and scan it for me or something. If you know what I'm talking about.
I'm cleaning at home. I found a whole stack of Wizard Magazine.
Maybe when it's out there, because I would swear on a stack of Bibles that it was Green Lantern for Iron Man, because when the movie started coming out, that's what
was
said.
The joke.
That was the joke. That holy shit, they almost traded these characters. And I have such distinct memory of this. So I may be totally crazy, but I
sometimes you are.
I am sometimes. But if someone actually has this article from Wizard from like, God, it's just like 20 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's before the internet was the internet.
Yeah.
We needed all our news from Wizard Magazine. It's the Bible of the comic industry.
I need to figure this out. I need to know that I'm not crazy, because I swear to you that's what I read.
Yeah.
So...
Nice.
She-Hulk and Hawkman's a little
That's
weird.
A weird one. Just because She-Hulk is so connected to Hulk. You have to have a little more standalone character. Like the Iron Man could technically leave the Marvel Universe, right?
And I think those characters, they're big, but the whole idea was they were like, they're never been A-list.
Yeah, not at that time at least.
No, not at the time. So, but yeah, I think all new Marvel Now versus DC New 52 would be fantastic. That's what they should do. And bring back all our...
I do kind of like...
Make comics great again.
It was a lot simpler times back then, man. No big corporations behind these companies. Marvel's... Marvel,
Warner Brothers was always behind DC. But...
Yeah, but DC was still DC. I mean, they were connected with WB, but yeah.
They owned them since the 70s.
Oh, did they? Mm-hmm. Fully?
Yep.
I did not know.
They just didn't do anything with them.
Yeah.
Again, I'm sure I mentioned this on here, but the long-running joke that I would always hear was that staff at Warner Brothers would ask, like, hey, who owns that comic book Superman? We should do something with them. They didn't even realize that they owned DC Comics.
Yeah.
So, because it didn't matter at the time, right? All right. Thank you guys for all your great questions. We should be back next week with
a normal...
With everyone, and definitely a big episode.
Next week is going to be a 3-hour podcast on Suicide Squad.
It's going to start with just I turn on the podcast and just you hear a gunshot go off and it just ends.
Just gibberish the whole time.
Just shoot myself in the head if Suicide Squad sucks. So hopefully not. Hopefully Suicide Squad is fantastic.
Well, there's a Marvel miniseries called The End, so it'll be the End comics conspiracy #1.
Death of comic conspiracy.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's wrap this up. Oh, you know what though? It's the beginning of the month, so we have 1.5 billion people to thank here on Patreon.
Yay.
So let's do this really quick. We got all sorts of special shout outs. We'll save that for the end though. We got to give these guys the proper
Can you thank
stuff
him all in one breath?
No. Alex McHale, Matthew Schnapp, Mike Campbell, Don Kilson, Mark Long, Ivan Leskanik, Brian Morawski, Dennis Jansen, Paula Schultz, Jason Thomas, Blake Etheridge, Keith Amaral, Christopher Noyes, Kevin Nguyen, David Spar, Michael McCollery, Santiago Mendez, John G., Sloan Ocularis, Aaron Wright, Father Dante, Joel Jimenez, Chris Peliki, Kevin Ellis, and Edgar Moreno. Thank you guys all very much. Of course, you can donate to us at patreon.com/comicconspiracy. And thank you. That's we got nothing else. Thank you. And we have all sorts of our very, 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 very special people to thank here. As soon as my mouse decides to click on the thing, there we go. These are all our high-tier backers. We thank these guys every week. Make sure you check out the stuff they do, because if you give them money, they can give us more money. So it's always great. Mm-hmm. Albert Soy, Plant Everywhere on iTunes. Make sure you check out his app there. Julian Titus has the Nerds Without Pants podcast at pixelbit.com.
No pants.
And I've
back.
Julian, I've talked to like 3 times. I'm like, yes, we had to find a week where like I can actually schedule this to have him on. So a couple weeks, Julian, it's happening. It actually is happening. Ryan has the Preach podcast. That's 3 Fools in the Desert preach to you about whatever's on their minds. SoundCloud.com/Preach podcast. Jody Lawson has Canon, the Triad Comics Anthology at TriadComicStudio.com. Check out some of those comics on there. Pick them up. Joshua Redding has a podcast called Tangent Break. Check that out on iTunes. It's a couple novels. They're available on Amazon.com as well. That's Twilight of Ages and Dawn of Darkness. And John Nesmith has a Drinking with Batman podcast at drinkingwithbatman.libsyn.com. Have a drink with Batman. Manoa Place, Sam Shea, Talon Bray, Peter Parker. Those are our other great, great friends who give us some money on Patreon. And if you guys have anything to pimp, let me know. Otherwise, we'll just keep telling you or telling everyone how awesome you are. And you are all awesome. Every single person. And even the people. Oh, last minute question from Ryan Hass on Twitter.
Oh.
Right under the wire. Which editor-in-chief is better, Perry White or J. Jonah Jameson?
Oh, J. Jonah.
J. Jonah is funnier. Perry White's a better editor, though. He's not an asshole.
You got a really good answer for this. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. I like watching J. Jonah Jameson better, but Perry White's the one you actually would want to work for,
true.
Right?
That's very, very true.
Listen to this Preach podcast. Tell him what you think is your favorite editor-in-chief of a major metropolitan newspaper that probably doesn't exist anymore. All right, guys. ComicConspiracyPodcast.com is where you can find this podcast and all of our other episodes, as well as Geekbox.net and on iTunes. Check those out, please. Give those old episodes a listen. You can also rate and review them. Oh, we should say, for those Patreon backers, this week?
Mm-hmm.
Tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Tonight?
Sure.
Okay. Tonight, we're going to have a special video for all our Patreon backers. We're going to try to do a little bit more of these at least once a month, so make sure you check out...
It's going to be the worst narrated video ever.
That's all right. Make sure you check out our Patreon page, and we do send out a link to everyone through email, so you'll get a nice email that says on Patreon that has all your all the info on there, and should have a link to the video. And we're trying to actually get a couple more things going on our YouTube site, which we've taken down all the random shit we had on there.
The rebirth is happening.
Yeah. So big plans. Hopefully we got some of that stuff coming up in the next few weeks as sort of a good test.
Yeah.
So for all the Patreon people, check that out. Don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes. Helps other people find the podcast. The Comic Conspiracy at Geekbox.net or the contact form on Geekbox.net. That's where you can send us an email. Patreon.com/Comic Conspiracy again, where you can throw a little bit of money at us. Keep this podcast going. We appreciate it. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz, where you can buy all those digital comics we were talking about earlier. Definitely pick some stuff up from there. Always great sales. Especially around Comic-Con, man. They had crazy sales. Conspirator Brock. It's Brock's blog and video poll list. That should be back up. I'm not sure if he's doing this week's. Maybe next week. I think he's going to be on a break. Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast. That's Charlie's Doctor Who podcast every week. Check that out. As well as Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. That's my wonderful wife's art shop on Etsy. Pick up some cool customs. She's always doing new stuff. Getting ready for Heroes and Villains, which is couple weeks, 3 weeks,
3 weeks.
San Jose.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to that.
Me too.
All of us on Twitter. I'm Ryan Higgins Ryan. Brock is Brock Sager. Bryce is Larson Bryce. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie's Insanity and Chaos. The store is Comics Con Store. Check all those out. Add us, please. Geekbox Comedy Button. Good Job Brain. All Talk Podcast and Manga Machinations. Those are our little podcasts on our network. Give all those guys a listen at geekbox.net. That's it. We'll see you guys next week. Post Suicide Squad.